The Lunaverse. Magic Tutor, Rainbow Double Dash, Season 2, Episode 2, Schoolyard Tales. The official residence to get the representative of the Night Court of Luna to Ponyville needed a short name. But after 8 months of living in Ponyville, Trixie had yet to make any serious progress on the matter. Not for a lack of trying. In conversation, most of us sorted into the residency or just Trixie's house, and that was fine. The problem was with the sign that hung next to the front gate, identifying it. Trixie had 3 versions of it. The current version, hanging up, was just too long and stretched far too out into the street. Second version, sitting in her basement, that was too tall, reaching to the top of the pole to nearly the ground. Third version, also in her basement, was perfectly sized, but the text on it was too small to read.
What if it was written diagonally?
Trixie asked Pokey Pierce, her secretary general helper. Her hair glowed blue, and she waved her hose a few times, changing the illusionary mock-up of a 4th version of the sign, so the words were tilted. She frowned when they only ended up taking more space. Pokey glanced up from the paperwork he was doing. "I still think this is a hopeless cause," he said. "Duke Blue Blood was this town's representative for how many years, and he never managed to fix it."
Yes, but he spent a goodly portion of his time here drunk.
Trixie noted his predecessor. There was a practice in striking the silence for Pokey at that. Trixie could feel his eyes boring to the back of her head.
Shut up,
Trixie appended. "Shutting up," Pokey said with a chuckle, turning back to his paperwork. Normally, most of the work that the representative and her secretary had to do pertained to the farming bills in some way, requests or reports that needed to go to Camelot, or come from Camelot and be distributed to the ponies of Ponyville. Today, however, they needed to focus on some last-minute paperwork, considering Twilight Sparkle's pseudo-house arrest and how it's going to work. Apparently, some concerned pony back at Camelot had raised an objection to Twilight's sentencing, specifically a part about how she should be encouraged to work around the town to make up for what she had done. In essence, was making the argument that Twilight had become an indentured servant to the town's council, a practice that had been outlawed about 120 years ago. Trixie and Pokey had needed to provide, in exacting detail, what Twilight was required and not required to do and not to do, so as to prove that Twilight had not accidentally been indentured at some point during her sentencing. Trixie didn't know if the pony causing the trouble was genuinely concerned or just trying to stir up some recognition. She decided to ignore it in either case. It became a genuine problem. The two had managed to finish up a few minutes ago, and Pokey was double-checking everything now as Trixie was working on her sign problem.
Varying font sizes,
Trixie asked, making the words residency and representative, Night Court and Luna, larger than the rest. Even those were the longest words in the title already, except Luna, but that had to be large. It didn't help matters as much as she hoped. She let out a long-suffering groan and balanced the sign, turning to face Pokey.
"There's no fixing it!" she exclaimed. "That's it. I'll just have to change the name entirely."
Pokey snorted a little. "Right, you're making the title shorter." Trixie stuck her tongue out at Pokey as she trotted up to the desk. Looking down at the paperwork.
"Done?"
she asked. Pokey signed his signature below Trixie's on one shiny paper, pressed the stamp on it, and placed it with a stack of others on the envelope. "Done," he said, though in fact he still had to seal the envelope with wax, and the official signing of the representative of the Night Court of Luna to Ponyville. This, mercifully, had simply the sigil of Ponyville on the bottom half, and the moon and star holding back the sun symbol of Luna on its top. Trixie nodded in approval.
"Okay, we'll call it a day here,"
Trixie said, looking at her host at Pokey as he rolled his eyes and stood.
"Now, shoo, thinking his snails will be here any minute."
Pokey groaned a little, though as he did do, Trixie asked, "I hate Wednesdays," he complained.
Trixie frowned. "You get to go home early."
"Yeah, but that just means we have to do extra work on Thursdays to make up for it." Trixie sighed.
"Thinky. And the snails now, too, need help learning magic. I think the little extra work is worth it to ensure that the next generation of unicorns knows how to use their magic properly."
"That's not what you say on Thursday mornings."
"I'm not a morning pony, also shut up."
Trixie used her hose to hurry the stallion along through the door.
"Helping Dinky and snails learn magic is exactly the sort of thing my special talent is for. and it could be seen as a vital form of community service. It is my civic duty as a representative.
He opened the door for Pokey.
Hi, Miss Trixie!
Trixie yelled at the sudden, unexpected burst of noise. She looked out her door, found herself looking at 7 pairs of eyes, belonging to 7 foals. Each of which still had growing horns on their foreheads. There was Sticky, of course, and Snails, as expected as well. Less expected was Snips, Snails' best friend, who was about half as tall as him. Consisted of a green coat and orange mane, the key mark of a pair of sisters. To the left was Tootsie Flute, a filly with lavender mane and fairy pale coat, and Trixie knew primarily because he was friends with Twist, Bonbon's little sister. The remaining foals, Trixie didn't know the names off hoof. There was a white filly with a purple and pink mane, an orange one with a pale red mane, and a pale yellow filly with a purple mane and what looked like wings on her back. Standing behind her, shifting from one hoof to another uncomfortably, was Raindrops, while sitting beside her, huffing and puffing and slipping buckets into her skirt with a card attached to it, was Scootaloo. Raindrops glanced at Trixie. She said, This wasn't my idea. Trixie looked back down at the foals. All of whom were smiling eagerly, except for Dinky, who was looking back nervously between the remaining foals, confused and worried. She felt a hoof pat her back as Pokey tried out past Raindrops. Have fun with your civic duties, he exclaimed. Trixie watched him go. They looked at Raindrops, to the foals, then back to Raindrops. She pointed a hoof.
Explain.
Snails had stayed up late the previous night, simply making his horn glow as bright as possible for as long as possible. Trixie's advice on the matter ended up working. He managed to get several hours of sleep before his headache can return. Lieutenant felt he tired as well. It wasn't positive, but he was pretty sure that missing sleep, when he was tired, was a bad thing. He then tried to school that morning, walking out starlight. Not so much because of finally being able to get some sleep. He could hardly pay attention to class. Once recess rolled around, he wasted no time telling his best friend Snips the good news. The great and powerful Trixie is going to teach me magic, he screamed loudly. Snips' jaw dropped.
Oh, no way! Really?
Snails nodded happily. The two had trotted over to the usual hangout by the tree and flagpole in front of the school. When he reached the tree's trunk, Snails beamed at its his noggin. You know those headaches I've been getting? Well, yesterday, Miss Trixie came over. Says she knew what was wrong. I'm just not using my meds enough. She says I have tons.
Tons?
Snips asked. Tons, Snails responded, turning and facing the tree. Reaching out with his telekinesis and trying to wrap around it so he could lift it up and show off. He got a few sparks of an aura around one low branch. But that was before he had to give it up, panting. Well, Miss Trixie said so anyway, Snails said when he caught his breath. And if Miss Trixie says I got tons of magic, then I gotta have tons.
Did she actually say tons? A new voice asked. Snips and Snails both looked at Soul Sweet Bell, white unicorn filly with a pink lavender mane, looking up at him with one brown waist. Snails nodded fervently. Yeah, he said, raising a hoof as he recited what Trixie had said from memory. You have a lot more magic than you think, Snails. You just don't know how to use it yet. That's what she said. That's not saying tons, though, Sleepbell noted. What are you, a dictionary? Snips asked. You just don't want Snails to be awesome. Sleeptime. I don't mind, she objected. Says that Snails hardly ever uses magic at all. He's the same age as me. Don't ever use that much magic either, because I'm still learning. I still think that's all Miss Trixie was saying.
Snails objected. I'm a month older than you, and Miss Trixie did too mean I have tons of magic. I'm a pedigree.
Prodigy,
Sleep said without thinking. Dictionary, Snap said with a laugh.
You're not.
Sleep countered across her hose.
If Snails can get good with magic and Trixie's, then I should be able to as well.
Just came forward with that.
No way! Miss Trixie said she helped me at Snails. There isn't any room.
Sleep met his advance, getting right into his face, close enough that their horns and muzzles were practically touching.
He didn't say that, Sleep said. He didn't even fight you.
Snails looked to his best friend's defense. I bet you'd be okay with it, though, he said, because he's my friend, and because he's Trixie's biggest fan, like me, because my sister says that Miss Trixie's special talent is even doing magic for ponies. Sleepbell backed away a little at that, her eyes worrying.
Fine, she said. I just want to learn some magic too, because my sister already could when she was my age. My mom and dad are disappointed. I just know it.
She turns around, running away in tears. Sis ducks its tongue out at a retreating form. The snails blinked a few times. You don't want to make Sleepbell cry. Oh, now I feel bad, he said, looking down, scuffing a hoof on the ground. Sniffs looked at his friend.
Why?
He asked. His eyes widened when he saw the look on Snail's face.
No way, Snails. You don't see Sus pretending to cry, right?
But it's wrong to make another pony cry, Snail said. My dad taught me that.
But she's faking it,
Sniff said certainly. Snail took in a deep breath. I gotta make her stop crying, though, he said, trying not to sleep. Snips rolled his eyes as he followed Snails across the playground. He found Sleepbell bawling her eyes out behind a swing set with her best friend Skulu, who was patting her withers. And in her fold, Tootsie Flute, a pale blue filly with a lavender mane, who had one hoof on Slee's head, was saying something probably consoling. When Skulu saw Snips and Snails, she stood up, scuffing a hoof on the ground, spreading her wings wide. But Slee kept her back turned towards the Sioux, sniffling.
Go away! Skulu demanded. You made Sweet cry!
Snail stopped a moment. Skulu had a well-deserved reputation as the toughest foal in school. Every pony still vividly remembered a fight he had once gotten in with Dinky Doo about a year ago. Was it involved toes, teeth, wings, macaroni, and snow? Dinky had started to fight too, calling Skulu's idol Rainbow Dash lazy. The fight had been broken up, and Dinky had apologized, and the two were even friends now. But in no doubt it had been Skulu who had been winning the fight. Snails had swallowed a step forward. Sleepbell, I'm sorry, he said. You can come with us to Trixie's if you like, and you're not a dictionary.
Skulu's wings buzzed as she stopped forward. Oh no, it's not that easy.
Sweetie interrupted, turning around, wiping tears from her eyes. The Snails' nod she brain, standing up straight and beaming.
Oh, Tootsie could come too,
she said, waving a hoof at the other unicorn. Tootie's eyes went wide.
Really? Yep, Slee said. Miss Trixie's special talent is doing magic. I'm sure she'll have to show us all how to do magic, just like her.
Tootie's eyes head tilted aside.
But I'm the best in class with magic,
she said as her horn glowed the same color as her mane and eyes. She easily picked up several stones in her aura and started juggling them.
My mama says it 'cause I come from a good pedigree. 'Cause you're a prodigy, Slee corrected.
Tootsie set down the stones.
I don't think so, she said. She says 'cause Mom and Papa are both unicorns. Their parents are unicorns, and their parents are unicorns, and their parents are unicorns, and... Well, so's my family,
Slee nodded, putting a hoof to her mouth.
I don't think it matters much.
Tootsie whickered.
Yeah, it does. Does not, does too. Does not, does too. Just look at Snails.
Snails bristled. What about me? Tootsie looked at Snails, then scuffed a hoof on the ground.
Oh, well, your parents are both Pegasi, but you're a unicorn. That's 'cause there was mixed breeding in your family sometime. Means you can't ever really be good at unicorn magic 'cause there's Pegasus in you messing up or something. That's what my mama and papa say anyway. That's not true at all,
Skulu objected, stomping forward.
My mom was a night guard, and I'm gonna be a night guard too. Doesn't matter that my dad's an earth pony. The night guard has all 3 tribes though,
Snips pointing out. Skulu rolled her eyes.
I'm gonna be part of the aerial division, duh. They only accept the best. But I'm gonna be the best, just like my mom was.
Tootsie scuffed her hoof again, looking embarrassed.
It's not the same, she said. That's what my mama said. Earth ponies and Pegasi mixing isn't like unicorns mixing.
She sighed.
Doesn't seem fair to me. Earth ponies and Pegasi get to marry and have foals, and their foals will be just as good as any other Earth pony or Pegasus. But unicorns marrying one of the other tribes might dilute the blood.
Skulu tilts her head to the side.
Does he like Truffle Suffle? He's an Earth pony.
Tootsie blushed even more, seeing her reciting herself.
Yeah,
she said in a quiet voice, eyes starting around and Keith's truffles nearby. Probably wouldn't have mattered anyway. Tootsie's crust on truffles, perhaps the worst kept secret in school.
And if your mom and dad feel like that, why did they even move to Ponypeel?
Sniffs asked.
I don't know. Tootsie admitted, this is what my mama and papa told me.
Snails considered. I don't know, he said aside. Maybe Tootsie's right, and I'll never be a good magic because I'm a mixed breed.
Doesn't matter, Sweetie said. Does too, Sissy said, coming out of her embarrassed withdrawal. It's dumb and it's stupid. I wish it wasn't like that, but my mom and papa says it's true, so it is. Girls, Skula said, interposing herself between the two unicorn fillies. Look, your mom and dad said one thing, she pointed at Sweetie. Your mom and dad said something else, she pointed at Tootsie. And we don't know who's right. We need to get advice. The 4 unicorns, and 1 Pegasus, all paused a moment. Then not as one turned around, heading towards the sandbox, where Alula was. Alula was a sandy-coated, purple-maned Pegasus unicorn, an extremely rare true hybrid between the 2 tribes. She had both wings and a horn and could fly, though not very well. It could do unicorn magic too, but that was also somewhat lacking. Both were because she was still young and still learning. But unlike a pure unicorn, pure Pegasus, she had to spend her time learning both forms of magic. She also kept getting mocked at school for being called a Mary Sue. Never know why. Because of her wings and a horn, Alula looked like an alicorn. However, she was not an alicorn. But that didn't stop the foals of Ponyville from thinking that maybe she was lying in order to hide her true alicorn nature, and that one day when she grew up, she'd get to rule over a country like Luna and Cadenza. It also meant the foals of Ponyville had collected decided that, much to Alula's own consultation, Alula was the wisest pony in all of the town, at least the wisest foal, and could answer any of their questions. He found her having used water from the school's hose to wet the sand in the sandbox. She was using her hose, a bucket, and a small shovel to build a sandcastle. The largest and most impressive the 5 had ever seen, at least in the school sandbox. And he was nearly as tall as she was. She was carefully using her hose to pick out small windows, and even surrounded it with a moat. Wow! Snail said as he approached. Alula glanced at him and blushed immediately. Thanks, she said, her voice as soft as it usually was. It's, supposed to look like Kaiserplatz? She paused, then nodded. Yeah, the Kaiserplatz. It's the biggest castle in the world. Bigger than Canterlot, even. It's in Frederick. It's where the Bundrecht, where their castle meets. Is it gonna be yours someday? Snails asked and placed the snips. Luna turned blessing. No, she said, sitting down in front of the castle, tapping her 2 hooves together. Even no longer paying attention to it, however, she reached out a wing and unconsciously smoothed the wall over with her feathers. Oh, Snail said, shuffling a little. Alula, we have a question. Alula looked up at the 4 of them, eyes wide. Oh, she said. What is it? Snails and Snips and Skulu looked at Sweetie and Tootsie expectantly. The 2 glanced at each other for a moment, then nodded, agreeing that whatever Lewis said, it would settle the matter. Sweetie stepped forward. Does it matter if a unicorn's a mixed breed or not? She asked. Lewis started. Wings twist carved a little more sand out of the castle since he attended, but it didn't fall. A testament to her skill. One he probably would have been more proud of, if not for the surprise of the question. What? Tootsie looked Alula over, and let out a long sigh and spat her forehead. Alula's a Pegasus unicorn, guys. She nodded. She won't know. But she's really wise, Snail suggested, leaning down on his knees and hunched in front of Alula. Come on, Alula, you gotta know. Am I no good at magic because my mom and dad are Pegasi? Alula brought their hose together. Well, I guess, sort of, since they couldn't. Ha! Tootsie exclaimed, leaping between front of her and hind hooves. See, I told you, because of mixed breeding, like I said. Wait. Alula exclaimed, reaching out with her hooves. Tootsie stopped her jumps, looking at Alula, and the foal, who tucked her wings tightly against her side, looked away. I mean, I don't think it's because Snail's parents couldn't teach me unicorn magic. Like, my papa can't teach me either because he's a Pegasus. But my mom is a unicorn, she can. Snails blinked a few times, then still with a hoof in the air. That's what the great and powerful Trixie said, he exclaimed. She says weak magic is a common problem of unicorn foals, raised by members of other tribes. Like how a Pegasus raised by an earth pony might have problems with learning how to fly. Skulu's wings sagged. Yeah, I can say that's definitely true, she said, Thosy brightened. But I'm this close to confessing Rainbow Dash to help me. I just know it. Tootsie whistled. But my mama and papa says it's not the same with Pegasus ponies and earth ponies. See, Wayne, I don't think it's fair, but that's just how it is.
Lula blinked a few times, tapping her hose together.
Well, my mama's always telling me that even though I'm not learning magic at the same rate as the other unicorns, that I'll come onto my own, that I have the same potential. It's just taking me longer.
But my mama and papa, Trixie began. Maybe they just made a mistake, Steph suggested. Adults make mistakes all the time. Like my mom and dad were certain I was going to be a filly, and they didn't have any names picked out for when I turned out to be a cult. So they nearly called me Sugar. Snail started to puff behind his head and considered that. What's wrong with being called Sugar? It's a filly's name, Sniffs insisted. Trixie, meanwhile, considered Sniff's lines of reasoning.
I guess, she said, her eyes wide. That's why I could go to the great and powerful Trixie's home. I don't need to learn all that much magic, but maybe she can explain the whole mixed blood thing to me.
A little glass between the ponies.
Trixie's teach you all magic,
she asked. Sweetie nodded her head enthusiastically.
It's our special talent, she explained. You should come with us.
Lula stood up, wings flaring excitement.
I want to learn magic, she said. I bet it would make my pottery so much easier.
Scootaloo snickered slightly. Potty, he said, jamming an apple to Trixie. Lula blessed.
Pottery, she said,
though she knew full well Scootaloo knew what she was talking about.
Making stuff with clay. I just know it's going to be my special talent, but for some reason I haven't got my cutie mark with it. Maybe I just need to learn spells for helping with molding and baking, or getting clay and painting it. Oh, can Firelock come? She's going to help me bake some pottery today. Maybe she can learn some magic too.
Ringing falls somewhat at the mention of Firelock.
Slee said, didn't she once nearly burn down Lighttail? It was an accident. There was that time with Silly Lakers. She wasn't even there. In the town hall once, there was a flood in the basement. She was trying to help.
The foes looked between each other. Scootaloo held up her holes.
I'm not learning magic, she said, backing away.
Like, Ring Ponies looked to Alula.
Okay, he said. Firelock can come. She has to promise not to burn anything down. No problem, Alula said. I'll go let her know.
She dashed off. Snails considered. Just a few minutes ago, it had just been him and Dinky going to Trixie's place. Now there were 5 other foals added to the list. Something seemed wrong about that. Like he had forgotten something important. Oh, right, he said quickly, looking between the foals. Trixie made sure to get permission from my mom and dad. You should all get it too from your parents. But you'll have to be fast and get there when me and Dinky do.
Fast?
Scootaloo asked, looking forward again, smiling brightly. She winked at the unicorn foals.
I have my scooter and my cart with me today.
Snails considered. Can you get her all down in time? He asked. Trixie did not receive an explanation from Raindrops, who had none to give. While Scootaloo was too tuckered out. As she watched, however, one by one, Tootsie Flute, Firelock, Alula, Snips, and Sleepbell all brought pieces of paper over to her, each one more or less the same thing written on it. Dear Representative Trixie, thank you for volunteering to teach my foal magic. As the bearer of the element of magic, I'm sorry that you'll have a lot to show them, especially as seeing as your special talent is teaching magic to foals. As you requested, I hereby give you my full permission. Trixie opened her mouth, raised a hoof. She closed and lowered a hoof. She bowed her head and thought deep thoughts. She felt a headache on. A big one. She knew she had to explain to the foals that her invitation was only to Snails. She was helping him out because of his headaches, and Dinky was the only true student she had time for. As he made the mistake of looking at the foals, each of them were wide-eyed and waiting eagerly. All of them wanted to learn magic, not just from any pony, but for Trixie. If she told her to go away, she would disappoint them. There would be tears, there would be complaints, there would probably be angry ponies demanding she apologize and teach their foal anyway. Trixie took in a deep breath and let out a mighty sigh. This was going to end poorly. She knew it was going to end poorly. She knew, just as surely, she wasn't going to send those foals away.
Come on in,
she groaned, stepping aside and waving a hoof.